The future of the Negro in this country is precisely as bright or as dark as the future of the country.
This is why Frederick Douglass could say that emancipation for the Negro was freedom to hunger, freedom to the winds and rains of heaven, freedom without roofs to cover their heads.
And this type of thinking also will bring an end to the brutality inflicted upon black people by white people. And it is the only thing that will bring an end to it.
My voice, your voice, our voices amplified. Welcome one and all to the Minority Report Radio, the show where we discuss all topics concerning the Black community, from relationships to religion, to offer a different perspective and change the narrative. I'm your host, Alex, joined with my co-host, Kam, and this is a journey to identify our problems and offer up a few solutions with some new music on the way. Kam?
Yeah, so let's jump right into the music.
All right, we'll get you some music, and then we'll come back in with some topics. Stay tuned.
When I go with confidence, when I go we roll our hips and take a sip on it, take a trip on it. When I go, you can go slow, wind it up all night, baby, take your time, let me know I want. When you turn me around, when the neighbors yell turn down, we keep it going, like bum bum bum. Throw it back then rotation, cigarettes and the season, shine bright as the season. Girl, you know you are a jam, 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 sounding like you're wasting every time. Jam, 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 sounding like you're wasting every time. We know like me, we know shine bright like royalty, we know stay keep with the guarantee and wine. So kind of your neck is falling, you been waiting on me to solve it for me. And last weekend, you had me thinking, oh, I must get in and lift my head up, like bum, bum, bum. Throw it back then rotation, cigarettes and the season, shine bright as the season. Girl, you know you are a jam, 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 sounding like you're wasting every time. Jam, 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 sounding like you're wasting every time. Can't you, yeah, you make me feel like we could do, oh, you make me feel like we could do it all over again, all over again. Can't you, yeah, you make me feel like we could do, oh, you make me feel like we could do it all over again, all over again. Jam, 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 sounding like you're wasting every time. Jam, 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 sounding like you're wasting every time. Sounding like you're wasting every time. Bum, 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 bum.
Why I don't like how he does things, I think that is kind of counterproductive if the goal, because it may not be his goal, I don't know, but if the goal is to, I guess, build Black men and Black women up so that we can come back together and it not be so much division and I guess division, then I don't think the way that he does it is right. I think it should more so be focused on how we heal, how we understand each other better, and not so much like pointing fingers. You Black women, da 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 da. This is why you Black women, this, that, and the third. Because I've heard him say multiple things like that before. So I think that creates like a pushback from Black women. Like, we're not going to listen to what he's actually saying. And I'm saying us as a whole, like, we're not going to really listen to what he's saying. Because I'm a part of a few different groups on Facebook that have Black women in them. And they talk about Kevin Samuels a good bit. And for the most part, they're not understanding the actual message. It's just how he does it. And they stop right there.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that clip was from the We Need to Talk YouTube channel. He puts out a lot of good conversational topic piece, and I wanted to touch on this real quick. That part was a young lady. I don't really know her name. I don't think they really introduced the interviewees like that. But she was talking about how we're talking about Kevin Samuels and his delivery of his message. Okay. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Cam, you just heard it. What are your thoughts, sir?
She has a point. She has a point. I would say not necessarily a good point, but she has a point, right? So this is where I think communication between, again, men and women are different, right? So a man can hear an unflattering opinion or unflattering fact about himself and dissect and understand, hey, even though this is about me, even though they're necessarily talking about me, it's not necessarily a bad thing, right? And I noticed this with a lot of my female friends, right? As a man, you have to be measured and watch what you say. You can't be candid around a lot of women, right? Because their feelings get hurt. They're very emotionally driven. Even though what you say may be 100% factual, there's still tact involved. Whereas when I'm talking to you, Mike, right? Like when I'm talking to you, boy, it's not necessarily like you're my boy, so I'm not gonna say anything hurtful, and you know that, right? So if I do say something that you're like, well, damn, it's not coming from a place of maliciousness. You understand what I'm saying? Like, you understand that off rip. It's not that I'm trying to tear you down or make you feel like crap. I'm just letting you know, hey, that's fucked up, or you could change this, or you see what I'm saying? And I think, honestly, a lot of Black women, they aren't giving Kevin Samuels the time of day because they can't get past his delivery. And I'm not saying the man needs to change his delivery. I completely agree with his delivery. He's very blunt, right? He's very factual, right? He brings up statistics all the time. And one thing that irritates me about even, and it's not just Black women, but women in general, one thing that irritates me is that there are very few women I've met in my almost 40 years of living that can take a fact at its face and remove themselves from that statistic. You see what I'm saying? Not put yourself in it and get in your feelings, but understand this is the subject that we're talking about. And it's not to tear you down, but more so to educate and discuss, right? Instead, they get, well, not all women. We didn't say all women, but if it's 80% of women, that's a lot.
So it's a pretty good majority.
That's a pretty good majority. It's a lot. You see what I'm saying? So, yeah. There's been very few women I've met in my life that can actually compartmentalize statistics and talk and have a discussion without literally putting themselves in it. And no fault of their own. I mean, because if you really think about it, they're emotional. So a lot of women are I think, empaths, right? Like they put themselves in your shoes and try to feel what you're feeling. Like, you see what I'm saying? So it's hard for them to remove the emotion out of it. The emotions are tied directly to them. You see what I'm saying? Like, whatever. It's not that some women can't do it. It's just that the majority don't, in my experience anyway.
And here's my position, right? Another YouTuber that I like, Cam, I'm pretty sure you've heard of him, obviously. Manosphere Highlights Daily.
Yes.
Right. And anybody we name drop, guys, we're gonna put the links to the description. We're gonna put the links in the description down below to these channels so you can check them out for yourself. Especially the video that we're talking about right now. That link will be down below. But Manosphere Highlights Daily, he says something a lot that I really appreciate. And I think that definitely applies to this scenario here. He says that women are so used to drinking the feel-good Kool-Aid, right, that it has ruined them. It's almost as if, you know, it's almost as if they become numb to the truth. Like they're so used to getting compliments and being lifted up and uplifted and you know, you look good, you're a queen, you're beautiful, you're perfect, you're all of these positive things that is impossible. Yeah, words of affirmation.
Yeah,
that is it is impossible to critique and for them to receive critique and translate that and not translate that as an attack. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
Because
I completely agree.
And it's like, I forget what it was. There's a principle out there that was talking about how, you know, if you don't allow a mofo to get sick, then their immune system is that much weaker when it's time for them to actually get sick. I think this is the social equivalent of that principle. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They're not allowed to see their flaws and acknowledge them. So when they are pointed out, they view it as an attack. It's overly sensitive, and they either push back or they shut down. More often than not, push back though, right? And what was interesting to me is that, you know, she said that, you know, girls in a lot of groups that she's in, you know, Facebook and the like, they typically stop at his delivery, which to me, and correct me if I'm wrong, which to me says that they missed the point. They never got to the point because they never made it past his delivery.
Well, and that's kind of what my point is, right? Like, so when Kevin Samuels popped off, because let's not get it twisted, it's not like the man is new to YouTube. He's been on YouTube for years, right? Right. But it was only during COVID that he really popped off, and primarily it was because he was talking about women, right? Specifically black women first, but then he started talking about, you know, all women, because most of the stuff he talks about can apply to all women, right? But he specifically addresses the black women because that's our community, right? But he doesn't do it in a way that's malicious if you actually watch his show. The problem is most black women only watch the clips. And I blame black media for this BS, right? Because when you look at websites like, you know, World Star Hip Hop and the Shade Room and all this other bull, sensational bull, bro, that literally they take clips that sound controversial and they say, oh, look at what this guy said. And it's not really what he was saying if you listen to the context, actually watch the video. But no one watches the video. It reminds me of politics in a way, man, where politicians will say one thing to your face and literally do the complete opposite in real life. Like their actions, they would do the complete opposite. And then because you're not paying attention, you're only paying attention when they're right there in your face, right? So you think they're doing a great job when asked. Oh, yeah, I love this politician. And then everybody who's been actually watching what they're doing, it's like, what? They're terrible. Their policies are terrible. What are you talking about? But your only interaction was that one time when he was in your face saying, I'm going to do this for you. It's the same thing with Shade Room and all that bullshit. It's like they only show you that 1 or 10-second or 15-second clip. And it's like, how dare he say something like that? But you don't see. It reminds me, and another hot topic that is hot on YouTube right now, the Asian doll thing that happened on that podcast Fresh and Fit, right? No one watched the actual podcast, right, to see who the host was talking to. They only watched the clip, and if you watch the clip, it looks like he's cussing out this woman. Like, it looks like, what? Like, how you gonna talk to a guest like that? But then when you actually watch the show, it's like, oh, he wasn't talking to the guest. He was talking to the girl next to the guest. And the girl next to the guest was being extremely rude. Oh, but you only got the 15-second clip. Right? Like, so it's all smoke and mirrors for clicks. And I think that in and of itself is what's screwing a lot of our communication is the sensationalism for clicks, right? So Kevin Samuels, like, dude, he doesn't say anything that's below board. Like most of the stuff he says, any fully functioning adult would say, yeah, I guess that makes sense.
And I like how you brought that up. How people use only like short, lengthy. Because first off, let me say this: Kevin Samuels does not need us to come to his rescue and defend him.
Oh heck, no, that dude is doing fine.
This mofo, like, okay, yeah, he has the nickname Godfather, but that nickname was earned. He don't need our small ass channel to come and rescue him. I just want to say that first and foremost, right? But having said that, the guy's streams, we're talking damn near 3 hours long. You know what I'm saying? He's like probably the second longest live streams I have ever seen, second only to the lead attorney, because that man goes for hours.
That
you understand?
Going for like 4-5 hours.
I don't know how he does it, but he does do it.
Hold on, and our brother and sisters over at Lapeef, bro.
Like, oh yeah, but see, Lapeef is understandable because that's a whole network.
Yeah, that's a whole other network, thing, bro.
You know what I'm saying? That's a whole show.
Like 6 hours.
So that's understandable. Kevin, we're talking about one man, one camera, one show. For hours, my guy? Like, come on. That is some tenacity. That is some work ethic there. You understand? But to go from having a 3-hour stream and you're only seeing like maybe 5 to 10 minute clip, if that.
10 minutes? Heck, that's hella generous, dude. I'm talking like 30 seconds, bro. They be doing them bogus, bro. It's like 30, 45 seconds tops. And they're like,
okay.
Oh.
Okay, so let's say 35, 30. That I don't do ratios and all of that. Numbers is your thing. But that is you are being done a disservice if you're not looking at the full stream in its entirety. It's like reading a book out of context, taking a single line out of a book.
Right.
Without knowing what happened before and what happens after.
And that's the crazy.
You have that one line. Of course, any one line taken out of context is going to sound bad without context.
Right. And that's the crazy thing. It's like, yo, you get 30 to 45 seconds, right? And you didn't even bother looking at it. Hell, can you at least look at the 10 minutes of the video before that? No. That's all I need to hear. What?
But see, my thing is these clips that people, this goes back to the whole feel good Kool-Aid thing, right? Mm-hmm. These clips do nothing more than reinforce your already set biases.
Oh, yes. Confirmation bias. Yes.
Yeah, confirmation bias. Thank you. So, and I liken what Kevin Samuels does, his delivery, to a military mindset. First and foremost, Kevin Samuels is a man. And I don't mean that in the sense that you look at him, he's clearly a nigga, right? But I mean in the sense that the dude is a fucking leader, right? He leads from the front. He's not telling you anything that he hasn't either experienced or is already doing. You understand?
I agree with that.
So coming from, and to my point about the military mindset, Cam, you and I are both veterans, right?
Yes.
The primary goal of boot camp is to what?
Break you down and rebuild you. Correct.
That means shatter your biases, shatter your personal beliefs, get you to see your flaws and work on them to make you better. So by the time you get out of boot camp, you are the model airman, Marine, soldier, sailor, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Going forward.
Yep.
It's the same thing when Kevin Samuels is direct and honest in his streams.
And that's one thing. And that's one thing I noticed when he was addressing the men, because he went viral for a clip he had like 3 years ago when he was talking to men, and he was reading this dude his rights. And I will never forget this video because he was going in, my guy. But it was from a place of love. He was like, bro, like you can't, like here are your flaws, and you're demanding something of women that they won't find in you. How can you demand something that isn't in you, my guy?
Which is also interesting because we say the same thing about women, but you refuse to look at the mirror. Also, John Cena said Thomas something. You can't see me.
In the same clip that he was going off on board, because here's the funny thing, right? They showed that viral clip, but they didn't show his reaction to Kevin saying all that to him. Kevin went off on old boy, and you know what old boy said? Damn, you're right. You know, that's the difference right there. That's the difference. It's not that what he's saying is wrong. It's how it's taken by the receiving party. Women process information coming at them about themselves completely fucking different, bro. And
I don't know, man. I don't know. I have to slightly agree with you. I agree with you to an extent, but I have to slightly agree with you because, again, the feel-good Kool-Aid is injected into the fucking bloodstream. How often have you been made to feel like shit just by society alone? Just because you're a nigga?
But that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like, so of all the parties that black women are, because you ask the average black woman, of all the parties that they get attacked from, and they do get attacked, there is no way around it, right? Black women get attacked on a daily fucking basis. And of all the people to feel attacked from, your mirror image, your male counterpart, you see what I'm saying? And that's how they take it. But I think, honestly, most of the women that follow Kevin Samuels now understand that it's not him attacking you as a black woman. It's attacking the culture and the way we were raised, right? And the mentality, the mindset. That's what he's attacking and telling you need to change. Because in all actuality, and he says it all the damn time, we need each other. It's not a one and done. Oh, you just need men. No, we need women too. But you have to be in the right mind space to even hear what he's saying. And that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm disagreeing with her in the video about. If the women that she's running into can't even hear the message, right? We have a bigger problem because his message is sound. He's not telling black women to do anything that any other race of women on this planet does. That's the thing that blows everybody's muffin. It's not foreign to any other race of women, but to buck against something just because, come on, man.
And I like to think, I like to look at it like this as well. In a crisis scenario, would you rather a motherfucker stand up? Obviously, you want somebody to stand up who has a plan, right? But the dude that has the plan, would you rather him talk, hey, so what we gonna do, we gonna go over here and we gonna run over to the exit, and then we gonna gather up accordingly in an orderly fashion and get the fuck out of here? Or, nigga, the fire's burning. You over here, you over here, you over here. Commanding a presence and attention and following through with a plan. Who you think is really gonna save your life?
You already know which motherfucker I'm going with.
You understand? You want the dude who will take charge of the situation in a the building is burning. I don't have time to cater to your feelings. Fix yourself. And I think that's where he's coming from. We are in a crisis right now.
Well, and that's the thing is, I think that's also debatable too. Not debatable for me because I agree with you, but I think from the opposite side, right? I think from women's point of view, I think it's debatable that we are in a crisis because you ask a lot of black women, they think we're fine.
I don't see how.
Which
clearly don't.
Part of me feels like it's cap. 100% cap, bro. Like they're saying it to save face, honestly. Because they don't want to admit fault or their. It's like a friend of mine posted today on Facebook. He was like, "Oh, dude, I want to pull that up." He said, "Oh, dude, I'm gonna pull it up. Hold on. You go."
Well, okay, all right. Well, while you pulling that up, let me just say this. I also find it hilarious. And don't get us wrong. We are not disagreeing with the girl. If you watch the whole video is like 17-18 minutes. If you watch the whole video, she's actually fair in her assessment of the whole entire situation, which is really weird that that people think would disagree and say that we're not in a crisis, because all I hear about is women complaining about black men and how shit we are. Like, that's all I hear. I rarely ever hear of a woman complimenting of us. Like, and when I do, it feels so good because it rarely fucking happens. But I find it interesting that, you know, the biggest concern with a lot of women as far as Kevin Samuels is concerned, right, and his delivery of his message, these very same women who have a problem with his delivery will laud and applaud shows like The Real, The View, Steve Harvey, Dr. Phil, you know what I'm saying, and many other daytime talk shows for their delivery and the disparaging attitude towards men on that show, especially if they're in the right. I remember one episode of, I think it was I'm sorry, I'm stuttering. Maury. I think it was an episode of Maury where this kid found out that the baby wasn't his. His mom was on there too, right? Yeah. He found out the baby wasn't his, and she told him, what you gonna do is you gonna be a man to a baby that's not yours. But nobody lauded her for that mindset. You want me to father what? Oh no.
Oh no. Yeah, no, that's not a good look, bro. Not a good look. So let me tell you what my boy wrote on Facebook, man. He said, "Why do all females feel like if they guy let them go, the guy fumbled the bag? Maybe he dropped the ball on purpose. Now I'm good. He said, now I'm good. This one got a hole in it." It's crazy how women never say, "Damn, maybe I messed that one up." Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's so funny. And I responded to him and I said, yo, it's an ego thing. I said, a lot of women have super inflated egos. I said, if you ask a woman who ended their last relationship and what could you have done better in your last relationship, you're going to get a lot of cap and they're going to make it seem like it was all the dude's fault.
The forever victim.
The forever, it's never, he was just, he was broke, or he didn't have this, or he didn't treat me this way. It's always the man's fault. It's never the woman. Even when the man breaks up with her, it's always his fault. And it's like, so you don't see any fault in yourself. You can't objectively look at your relationship and be like, damn, I could have listened more, or damn, maybe I didn't understand what he was talking about. Maybe we didn't communicate properly. None of that. None of that is his fault. And I'm just like, all right, bro. Cool. I guess we ain't got no introspection over here. Anyway.
And no accountability.
Yeah. None whatsoever. But and on that note, we're gonna go ahead and play this second song for you guys and get on to the second topic.
Stay tuned, folks. We'll be back.
At first I said that I love you and you ain't say that shit back. It's kinda hard to just trust you when both your feelings don't match. Got me showing less emotions, I don't wanna get attached. Once I give you my word, I swear it ain't no going back. Once I give you my heart, you better keep that shit intact. Instead of assuming no words, girl, I'm just here stating facts. You want me to take you back, I want you to take me back. You want me to take you back, I want you to take me back. So tell me, is you gon' ride out when the chips fall? I seen too many people leave when it get hot. I'm tired of going back and forth when we pissed off. Most of my friends done went through it and they stood tall. See, they gon' try and tell you what they think is good for you. Whole time they was plotting, man, I wish they was for you. You gotta watch your back, your front, your side, they disloyal. I gotta watch my crown, cause from birth I've been royal. And that's from the soil. Yeah. Strong-minded individuals. What happen when y'all both reach the pinnacle? Things start to get physical. What make it worse? The motherfucker live with you, talking what you didn't do and what they did for you. You just praying for a miracle, cause they been with you through the good and the bad times, made it pivotal. All them feelings that you hold inside, it will hinder you, so let it go. What you didn't do and for a miracle, cause they been with you.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We got a second clip here. It's the men's turn. I don't think DJ have. No, you haven't listened to this one, Alex.
No, I don't know. I don't think I've seen this one.
So yeah, this is fellas. I don't want y'all to get in your feelings. This is gonna kind of sting a little bit for some of us.
Amen. Ouch, mofos. Amen. Ouch.
Amen. Ouch. All right, let's get on to the clip.
So do the math and ask yourself a question right here. Pull out your calculator. Ask yourself, at my age, am I making the amount of money I should be making? This is minimum. This is minimum. So let's just say at 40 years old. At 40, that means you need to be making 60. At 50, you need to be making 75. That's the minimum. That means to have a CIA caliber life. That means you'll be able to actually do shit, go places, do things. You're not just working and robbing Peter to pay Paul. If you decide you want to date, you can actually date. Shout out to AMS. Like he said, you know, yeah, go out on a cheap date when you're initially meeting some chick, but man, you don't want to go out to Burger King when you with somebody who's in your rotation. Do quality of their life. You want to go out and have a nice steak dinner. You want to eat some lobster from time to time. You want to go on vacation. And I'm going to tell you, I have met too many men in the last 6 months who 35, 37 years old, never wore a suit, never owned a suit. Let me say this again. Never wore a suit. Last suit they wore was at prom. How do you get to a life of be 37 or almost 40 years old and you've never worn a suit? Remember what I say, if you don't live a life that's broad enough that requires you to wear a suit from time to time, you need a broader life. But you can do that if you're living life below. And see, the thing is, there's so many guys out there that are living life below, and they'll get in these comment sections and they'll start talking about women and the society and everything else. And you thinking, oh yeah, they're here with us, and they're way down here. See, this is gonna hurt. See, if you're way down here on your earnings, you ain't got time to talk about no politics, no bitches, no nothing. Your ass need to go to work.
Well, your thoughts?
Oh. Leave it to Kevin to pull you over his knee with a metal lace belt and whoop your ass. When I say amen, ouch, I had to say that not just for our male listeners. No, that was also for me, because that is definitely an amen, ouch moment for your boy. Look here, when you talk about being behind, and that's something that I struggle with, because I know, and Cam, you've known me the majority of my life, right? I've always had this feeling that time was running out for me. Even as a kid, I always felt the feeling like time was running out. I'm running out of time. I've always felt like an old man, right? Because I had to be, right? But as I became an older man, you know what I'm saying? I am 36 now. 36. I am nowhere near where I need to be. Now, I can say that I have worn a suit several times. Thank God for that. Because, I just like wearing suits. It's too hot in Arizona to wear a damn suit, but I do like wearing suits. But yeah, when it comes down to, I think what it ultimately comes down to is a priority check, right? And I think that's what KS is talking about. For those of you who don't know and can't recognize his voice, that was Kevin Samuels. But I think it's a matter of priorities. If you are not making enough to live comfortably, and I'm talking about breathe easy, your bills are paid, right? Everything is cool. I'm talking your rent your light, your water, your insurance, your car note if you got one, you know what I'm saying? Your phone is taken care of. After all your internet, you know what I'm saying? All your vitals, after all of that stuff is taken care of, you still have a substantial enough money to go do some leisure shit, right? If you are not at that position, you are wrong. And you need to fix yourself. And I'm saying that as a brother who is in said position because, hey, my life was shit, but that doesn't matter. The circumstances that led you to the point to where you are behind do not matter. I need y'all to hear that clear as a bell. Valid though they may be, it doesn't matter. You need to fix that. And I think that that's where he's coming from. See, people forget Kevin don't just go hard in the paint for the women. He go hard in the paint for the dudes. If in fact, I would think that he's even more harsh on the dudes because of the standard that we are supposed to be held by.
Ruthless. You hear me? Ruthless.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
bro, I didn't see him read a dude from top to bottom, bro. Listen, I wanted to cry for that nigga. I was like, oh Lord, hammer don't hurt him.
It's like, Lord, man. But like, and I get it, guys.
But this is the thing, as well he should. Here's the thing, right? And we just talked about this earlier in the show. You can't expect something out of someone that you don't have in yourself, right? So in other words, you can't be a dude talking about some, man, my girl gotta be a 10 and she gotta look a certain way, she gotta be fit, feminine, friendly, all this shit, but I make $30,000 a year. What now? That's not how that works. That's not how any of that works. Ain't no chick checking for you, guy. Now, here's one thing I will say in that clip, right? One like he says it in the whole video. If you watch, it's 2 hours long. But if you really listen to what he's saying in the clip, right? Like, granted, 60% of black men are in the middle class, right? That's a statistic a lot of people throw out there, including Kevin Sann. But that statistic, like, yes, the middle class is kind of broad, though, right? I mean, you're considered lower middle class at like $45K a year, right? $42K a year. Middle class goes all the way up, depending on your city, to $100K, right? So yes, 60% of black men are in the middle class, but that doesn't really take into account their age, right? How much exactly are they making? Because if you're talking about a 50-year-old black man making $50K a year, yeah, he's in the middle class, but he's also old as shit. Should he be looking for younger women? Should he be looking for women? What's his goal? Is he trying to start a family? Like, there's a lot of other factors that go into that. But at the same time, we know, and I know you know, like, male friends that you got to get on, like, yo, how you gonna talk about females and you ain't even where you supposed to be, dude?
Oh my God. Okay, now I understand.
Like,
I get the Okay, I got that. I caught it.
but it's just like, yo, how you gonna talk shit about women and you ain't where you supposed to be, bro? And that ain't to say that you can't disagree with the behavior of women. But you can't be going hard in the paint.
Shit. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
But that don't mean you gotta be going hard in the paint on some bullshit. Like, you got all this experience and you ain't doing what you supposed to be doing. The women that you run into supposed to be pissed at you. You know what I'm saying? Like, they supposed to be mad at you. Because technically, if you really think about it, you kind of wasted their time.
Ain't no kind about it. You are. Look,
like, you can't start no family. Who you leading? Like,
where you going? Do you even have a heading? Do you have a direction into where you're going? I did a thought experiment some years ago, dude, and I actually sat there and thought about it. Like, when you really look at the landscape, the dating landscape, you really think about it, right? And I know Kevin Samuels and other voices in the manosphere proper harp on, the fact that women have like all these different degrees and stuff like that, and you know what I'm saying, that's not something that men look for. It does command respect. I want to add that addendum. You know what I'm saying? It does offer a certain amount of respect and, you know, admiration, at least from my perspective.
Well,
right?
And I also want to add an addendum too. It's not that men don't look for it. It's not the primary focus.
It's not your defining factor in attractiveness. Let's put it that way.
Right. It helps.
It helps, yeah.
Don't get it twisted. Listen, my wife is educated. She's more educated than me. I didn't finish college, right? But she finished college to a certain point, right? Did she get a bachelor's? She got a bachelor's, right? Which is cool, but that works for us because she is educated enough to educate our children, right? That is where I look at it from. So I don't want a woman who's necessarily, you know, low on the totem pole on education. So it does help. But was that what I was looking for when I wifed her up? Hell nah. That wasn't the primary thing I was looking for. You know what I mean? Women I dated that didn't have, have a college degree, I didn't care. Like it wasn't oh yeah, gotta have a college degree. It wasn't a requirement. It was like that, like when you're applying for a job. Yeah, a motherfucker employer might ask you for a college degree. Is it required? It would be nice. If you have one, you'll be a step up.
But can you do the job?
But can you do the job?
You
Thank you.
Like, and we talk a lot, not us specifically, not online anyway. I'm pretty sure we'll get to it eventually. But there's a lot of talk about hypergamy, and it has such a negative connotation surrounding the conversations that the word is involved in. But I need y'all to understand something. Hypergamy isn't inherently bad. It's a natural phenomenon. You know what I'm saying? So if you can't reach the point where you're on her level, because our women are running in a lot of departments, our women are running circles around us. You know what I'm saying? We're not meeting a certain standard of, living. If you can't meet that standard of a functioning adult to where she can, so you can lead her somewhere, then you can't be mad at her when she just like kind of straight up dismisses you or runs you completely. Because you're not where you're supposed to be. You have abdicated your position. You have no staying power.
Yep.
It's like Cam said, who is you leading? Because ain't nobody gonna follow you.
Can't lead yourself. You can't even lead yourself to the water.
You know what I'm saying? You can't lead yourself. You just become a wanderer, and you just wandering from one bedroom to the next, and the next, and the next.
So that's another thing that Kevin talks about in his men's week. He had one last week as of this podcast, and that was one thing he was talking about in the Esquire phase. A lot of men, and I didn't understand this as a man myself. I didn't understand what I was supposed to do from 18 to 29, because it wasn't really taught to us as vehemently as everything else. And by everything else, I mean go party, get bitches, blah, 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 blah. Like, it wasn't really harping us what we're supposed to be preparing for. Because in all honesty, and my father, and I want to throw a caveat there, it's not that my father didn't do his job. He did try to ward me off. Don't get it twisted. My dad gave me the advice that Kevin Samuels gave a lot of young brothers last week. The problem was I didn't really listen to it. I didn't really listen to the advice as I should have, right? And it wasn't just my dad. It was other men in my life. But looking back, man, I got married at what? 22, almost 23, right? And I felt woefully ill-prepared to lead a woman, right? To raise a family. That's work. You know what I'm saying? And Myron on Fresh and Fit often says this, and I wholeheartedly agree with him. 18-year-old man is about as useless as a 35-year-old woman. Now, let me caveat that. That's not saying that women are useless at 35. What that's saying is when you're looking from on a dating marketplace, right? When you're single, ready to mingle, right? An 18-year-old man has no standing, no status, no leverage, no real money. Now, granted, are there loopholes to that? Are there exceptions to the rule? Sure. You might find an 18-year-old who got a trust fund, who got some money. That's not what we're saying. We're talking about the vast majority of men are literally useless at 18. They have no direction. They don't really know. They're trying to feel themselves out, right? They're trying to figure it out as they go.
And don't even neglect the fact that a lot of those 18-year-old men are coming from single parent homes. But they got a lot more to fucking figure out.
Raised primarily by women who couldn't really teach them what a man's supposed to do. That's another thing Kevin Samuels often says is women raise men they themselves would never date. And it took me a while to think about that, but I think about a lot of my friends who have came from single parent households. And that's kind of true. They have a real bad issue with talking to women or even presenting to women in a way that women would be like, "Ooh, damn, he hot." And I'm not talking about the motherfuckers. And I'm not talking about, no, let me finish. I'm not talking about the motherfuckers that are genetically gifted. I'm not talking about the 6-foot motherfuckers who look good. I'm not talking about the Morris Chestnuts of the world. I'm talking about average Joes. The average man in America is socially awkward, bruh. They just are. And it's primarily because they come from single parent households, right? But that's not to say that man can't grow out of that. We're talking about at 18. At 18, most men don't know their ass from their face, bruh. You know what I'm saying? And then at the same time, you got these women jumping into these relationships with these knuckleheads, and they don't know what to look for to do, right? So it's kind of like this revolving door of like fuckery, because we aren't teaching women at a young age what to look out for, and men themselves aren't disciplined enough yet to say, you know what, you're a beautiful woman, but I can't offer you anything right now. That takes discipline and self-reflection to even know that about yourself, right? Self-awareness to even be like, yo, I have sex with you, right? But if we have a kid, I'm not financially stable enough to even take care of that child. And you.
Especially if the economy is really bad. You know what I'm saying? And it's getting worse. Like, if you look around, you can't be ignorant. You can't be a man and be ignorant to the goings on. Even if you're not a stock market player or, into the Bitcoins and stuff like that, even you need to understand that shit is changing. Prices going up. Hell, gas out here is damn near $4 a gallon. You should know the world around you and how much it'll take to do anything. You know what I'm saying? The price of meat has gone up. And if you don't know that, if you hadn't noticed that, then you clearly have not been paying attention, or you've been paying attention to the wrong things. And as a man, you cannot afford to be ignorant in the world. You cannot.
Nope.
That is an easy equation for you to crash and burn. Period.
But again, though, Mike, as a man, you said 36. How long did it take you to understand you needed to know that?
I was 2 years old, so 34.
And that's what I'm saying. Most dudes aren't equipped young to handle shit when it comes to a relationship and leading somebody, even knowing what to do in said relationship. And that's my thing. That's why I agree with Kevin Samuels about the Esquire face. You shouldn't even be looking at women, bro. Like, in all honesty, cool, get your nut, whatever. I get it. But for a serious relationship,
I want to amend something that
you should be focusing. You should be focusing on yourself.
And I agree with that. Like, if I had known better, I swear. You know how you hear old heads. Now we're the old heads, but old heads back in our days, like, if I knew then what I knew now, bruh. If I had knew then what I know now while I was in the military, I joined the military when I was in my 20s. Keep in mind, I had been on my purpose for a long ass time, trying to build said family, trying to find somebody to build with, not realizing that that's not how the dating market is set up. You know what I'm saying?
And that's not the order in which you're supposed to do it in.
I mean, it was ideal for me, but yes, you're right. You know what I'm saying? So I got distracted a few times, but like, I had been chasing a lot the purpose for a minute, but failed. As failure is part of life. Like, you're not gonna succeed at fucking everything. You know what I'm saying?
Correct.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, if I knew then what I know now, I think I would be a lot better off or probably in my ideal position now at 36. But I want to amend something that you said, that you mentioned regarding single mothers. You know, you said that they raise men they don't want. I want to because that's a profound statement to me, but I think it goes a little bit deeper, or is a little more complex than that. Albeit I do agree with it. It's just, I think it's a little more complex. I think single mothers raise men they wouldn't want when they were that age, one. And then two, single mothers raise men that raise their concept of an ideal man that is not desired now. You see what I'm saying? So what ends up happening is that single women, right, they raise their young boys to be everything the men that they've dealt with is not. So you instill in them this chivalrous, be kind to women. You treat her like a queen. This simp culture, he goes out in the world with these ideals and he crashes miserably because no woman wants to give him the time of day. You've built your ideal man. He's everything his father and every other dude you dated is not. But when his turn to go out into the world and he presents those ideas, he embodies those ideas, the women he is appealing, the women he's trying to appeal to don't want him. Or if they do want him, they don't want him. They just want the fact that he is willing to do whatever for them.
Right, to use them. Yep. Real talk, son husbands. That's exactly
what's that?
What it is. Son husbands.
Son husbands?
Yes. Single women raise their sons to be the husband that they themselves want. But by the time a woman is old enough to figure that out, kind of like you said, like they build their own husband in their mind, so they tailor how she would want that husband to act to the son. The son is unattractive to the women that he himself is going after at his age, right? An 18-year-old girl don't have the mindset of a fucking 36, 40-year-old woman. That's not the same. And if you think an 18-year-old man is going to be appealing to a 40-year-old woman, you're crazy.
I've attracted a few cougars in my day.
No. There's a difference between attraction, because this is the thing. There's a difference between attraction and actually trying to build something with that man. In other words, a long-lasting family and relationship. They might fuck you. I mean, that's the same thing with men. Men might have sex with women, but they don't ever plan on marrying said woman. It's the same concept. Ask a 45-year-old woman would she marry an 18-year-old boy? Ask her.
I mean, nowadays, I think the rule book is just burnt up, dude. I don't think.
No, I'm gonna tell you right now. That woman gonna be like, why? Why would I marry him? Because if that was the case, if the dating market was that cracked, and older women were going after men like that and marrying them, the alimony, because again, 18-year-old, you ain't making shit. A 45-year-old woman out earns you. Alimony would start to be reversed. In other words, it wouldn't be 90-10.
I mean, Erykah Badu got like a 20-something-year-old dude now. I'm just saying.
But is she married to him?
I think so. If I'm not, hold on. Let me look this up. Hold up. Let me get the Google food going on right now. Hold up. Yeah, he's 27 years old. See, yeah, damn near 30. 20.
Yeah, but not 18.
I mean, by her standard, though, he might as well be 18. Where's she at?
Like I
from
said,
her viewpoint, he might as well be 18. But
like I said, and still ain't she ain't gonna marry that boy.
But that's my point. But that's my point.
As a rich artist, but see, here's the thing. Here's the thing, though. That's what I was trying to say. If that was the case and they were marrying these young men, you would start to see alimony flip. The reason why is because when they do get divorced, and she has broken up with all the other dudes she's been with, right? Alimony gets paid out to the motherfucker who makes less in marriages, even if it's the man, right? K-Fed, prime example, right?
Oh, that motherfucker.
I'm just saying, right? So you would start to see alimony numbers flip. They not. So an older woman might boo you up. She might sugar baby your ass. She might pay for some shit and fuck you, but she's not gonna marry you and actually build a family and a life with you. And that's our point. That's my point. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, it is what it is. At the end of the damn day, dudes really gotta understand, and we need to instill in the generation coming after us, not necessarily Gen Z, but really the kids, the actual kids that are come, like my kid, my son, right? We really need to instill that, 18 to 29 is not the time for your ass to be thinking about marriage, man. It really is not. You need to be laser focused on yourself. That means either getting your degree if you're going to college, working on your business that you're working on, doing what you need to do, become more attractive, because you will never run out of women chasing money, ever. But you will run out of money chasing women. You see what I'm saying? Like it's that's a colloquialism for a reason, bro. Like that's a saying for a reason, bro.
And there's bite behind it. Ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna go a little bit over this time because there's something that I desperately need to address. Since we're on this topic of 18 to 25s looking to get married. And I think this is a damn vital point that needs to be heard.
I'm down with overtime. I said I'm down with overtime.
So here's the thing. Personally, I think that it is the way that things should work as time progresses, we get older, we need to pass on our knowledge to the following generation, right? We need to make sure that they don't repeat our mistakes so that they can be better than us. The next generation should always be the better than the one preceding it, right? The issue that I have is that when there aren't enough mentors in the world. We already know that by and large, a lot of these kids are coming out of single parent homes, primarily headed up by women, right? Not saying there's nothing necessarily wrong with that. There's just something missing. Okay, let's just meet me at that baseline. There's something missing, and that's that guidance, right? I myself came from a single parent home. I've had help along the way, but primarily I came from a single parent home. So I need y'all to understand, as a young boy raised by his mother, the work on one's psyche that does. Okay. And I'm gonna try to be as brief as I can, but I really need y'all to hear this. Growing up in that environment, knowing something's missing, and then not really realizing what that is until you are exposed to the outside world. My friend has a dad. I see how they are interacting. They have a dad. I see how they are interacting. Where's mine? What do I do? Who do I interact with? You understand? And growing up in that environment, it does something to you. You begin to want, and especially if the mother is training that son to be the husband that she desires. So now in his head, that he's being housebroken. So by the time he's of dating age, he's already a husband. He's husband-minded. He wants to build that family. He wants to be the husband he never had. I'm talking to you, somebody who is this. He wants to be the husband, the father that he never had. So he's going out to seek a wife at 18 without a mentor to help guide him and teach him to focus on his purpose first. He's going to make mistake after mistake after mistake. We need to be better as mentors to these coming generations. I cannot stress that enough. If it wasn't for Cam's dad, my mistakes would have been a lot more and a lot more severe. You understand? I was lucky enough to luck up on them. You know what I mean? Not everybody gets as lucky as I did. So they end up either in jail without dick discipline, the father of multiple kids, absentee fathers, because, I mean, how's he going to be something he's never seen an example of? Not excusing it, because if you make it, you got to take care of it. But how do you expect him to be something he's never been? Or he's dead or in jail. None of these are desirable outcomes. And without a mentor, all of these things could potentially happen. You may not think that it's your responsibility, but yes, the hell it is. We need to be better mentors. If for no other reason, you ain't even got to necessarily talk to a little motherfucker. Because I'll be the first, I'll raise my hand up the highest, as Melanie King says. I'll raise my hands up the highest. Some of these little motherfuckers I just want to beat the shit out of. I really do. Like, because y'all don't make no sense to me. But if it's just to show an example, just be an example. Give them an image to look up to. Give them some, because I'm telling you, this is going to get way worse before it gets better without proper mentors. I'm sorry, I was just rambling on. Cam, go ahead.
No, man. That was very candid, bro. I mean, it is what it is, and that was your experience. And truth be told, man, that's a lot of dudes I know. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. And, you know, that's not, again, we're not putting the fault on women, but it's just to understand the mindset a lot of men are coming from. And the reason why a lot of men are in the state that they are in. A lot of these motherfuckers is broken. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? And that ain't to say that there ain't women that are broken, because there are.
That's a whole nother chapter.
That's a whole other chapter. But come on, fellas. Like, y'all know. And then this is the thing too. You, like, me speaking with you about this subject, and we've talked numerous times over the years, right? But just thinking it back to all my other male friends and the behaviors and the shit that I saw, and it's like, yo, why y'all think like that? Like what? Like what? But it's like you said, they can't be what they've never experienced or seen. Like, you know what I'm saying? They need some type of guidance. And that is where I agree with Kevin Samuels again. A lot of men need to step up, and not necessarily, I ain't saying be single fathers. That's not something that we need to be doing. But at the same time, you know, he asked the question, what do you owe your community? You know what I'm saying? And I feel that. Like, he asked women that, and men, and I feel that to my soul. You know what I'm saying? What do you owe your community? What do you owe your culture? Right? And this goes back to, you know, men with the whole, you know, dressing a certain way, speaking a certain way, carrying yourself in public. Even, I ain't saying you got to go and volunteer at the Boys and Girls Club, bro. I'm not saying that. But the way you carry yourself in public.
Exactly.
Children watch.
Exactly. And then
cussing each other out, calling each other the N-word. You know what I'm saying? I get that. I talk that way too. Hell, I said the N-word on this podcast 2 seconds ago. But at the same time, this is for adults.
Yep.
Right? I don't say the N-word in front of my children. My children don't even understand what that word is yet. They still little. You understand? So for me, it's like, yo, there's such a thing called an image. And I agree with Kevin Samuels. The black community as a whole, our image is trash, dude. Most cultures, and that's not even just to say all black. We know who we talking about. We talking about ADOS. We talking about Black Americans, right? Our image is trash, right? When you ask a lot of our other brothers and sisters in the diaspora, like, bruh, like, they expect certain behaviors because that's what they've seen of us. Right?
We don't own our
we
image.
Need to change that narrative.
Don't own our image.
Our media needs to work on changing that narrative. And I get that they're working on the women's side. You see Black Girl Excellence, all this great stuff popping up for women, but you see very little male side of that. You might see some Black Boy Joy, yeah, okay, but that didn't take off. Like, I just watched on my fucking Facebook feed, bro. They got Black Girl Magic Rose at fucking Target. Like, that's marketing, bro. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, there's a difference, and I feel like, you know, we're serving one part of the community but underserving the other. You see what I'm saying? So, I mean, it is what it is, and Kevin Samuels is right in the initial video. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you don't get your weight up as a man, you are essentially useless. It is what it is. And if you had any sort of male role model in your life, they would tell you the same shit. The burden of performance is on us, fellas. It is. Our shoulders are broad for a reason. And that's my closing statement.
And on that note, we'll give you some more music and we'll be right back with the lesson of the day.
I can't let them take my soul. Nah, 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 no. Oh, I can't let them take my soul. Nah, 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 no. See, we was cool right before it hit the fence, but it hit the fan when I got him down and benched. But I took a break, I had to leave and go get cleansed. God forgive me for all my sins. I can't say these hoes, cause my last name ain't Kent. Cooking on the stove, that's the way he paid the rent. Working on the pole, that's the way she paid tuition. Better watch your soul, cause you know they trying to get it. Yeah, yeah. I learned my right from wrong on a song. I let my heart bleed on my sleeve through microphones. I'm trying to right my wrongs by writing out my wrongs. Ran through a check, cause it's hard to live off bread alone. So if you see me slipping, yeah, let me know. Cause it ain't the end of times yet, I know, but it's getting close. Yeah, I need my space to breathe, that's why I be going ghost. I ain't trying to stay up on that wide road, cause I can't let them take my soul. Nah, 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 no. Oh, I can't let them take my soul. Nah, 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 no. I can't let them take my soul. Nah, 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 no. Oh, I can't let them take my soul. Nah, 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 no. They thinking I'm bluffing, but I promise I do it. That K got a drum, like murder and booming. Sending you vert, if I get my little Uzi. They thinking I'm crazy, I'm gon' see you to hate this. People I'm saying, get what I'm painting. A picture big, I call it little baby. If I'm on the board, then we playing chess. If you on my way, you gon' need a vest. Act big, you might get stretched. All your gun talk, I ain't impressed. My 45 seen real traffic. That's Dallas, Texas. My little partner called a body for a Maserati. He told him get up out the car, hit him with the shotty. That 12 gauge, gave him life in the 12th grade. I tried to write him, but we ain't on the same page. I caught him slipping, I just had to let him know. It ain't the end of times yet, I know, but it's getting close. These demons really out to get you, so you better guard your post. There's certain things I could probably let go, but I can't let them take my soul. Nah, 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 no. Oh, I can't let them take my soul. Nah, 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 no. I can't let them take my soul. Nah, 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 no. Oh, I can't let them take my soul. Nah, 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 no. I can't let them take my soul.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is our show. Once again, I am your host, Alex, along with my co-host, Kam. We believe that every encounter that you have is an opportunity to learn something. So what did we learn today? What is the lesson that we should take away from today? And I think what we should take away from today is that ultimately we need each other. We can point out each other's flaws all we want to, you know, we can nitpick and bicker and, you know, fight about whatever for all the live long day. But at the end of the day, if we are going to rebuild the Black community, Black men, we need Black women. Black women, you need Black men. Children need their fathers and their mothers. No one gets through life by themselves. Everybody needs somebody. No one is an island. And somewhere along the line, we forgot that. It's time we remember. So thank you for tuning in. We appreciate you. Make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe. Let us know what you think. If you disagree, if you agree, let us know. We want to hear from you. Make sure you share it with your friends, share it with your families. You may know somebody who needs to hear this point of view. Tell them. Thank you for listening. We appreciate you. Until next time, people. Peace.